If we could live in this moment and just hold it.
Hello there, this is the Lady of the Throne Astrology, where God dwells within me as me, and I am the Lady of the Throne, and I am here to speak with the Virgos for October. This is going to be your healing divine messages. All of these messages are truly sacred because they're coming directly from heaven, and a work like this is really truly going to be heartfelt. It is always going to be helpful all throughout the year. And I want you guys to remember that every month there is going to be a healing message for you guys. And so make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss anything, and so that you can get all the messages that you need at this time for clarity. Also, if you feel like commenting down below, you can, because I'm sure something will resonate with you. If it does not resonate with you now, maybe it already happened in the beginning of October, or it could be about to happen. And also, it may not resonate with every single person either. So also remember that too, but most likely it will. Just really sit down and have a think about it, and, you know, come back and see how it resonates with you. But this is all about positivity and encouragement here on this channel. Be not swayed by your own ego. And I have to say that because there is a tendency to do that. But this is pure in its most divine nature. And so I want you guys to remember that as you're listening. Okay, take heed and take everything very seriously, because these messages are very serious, and they are here to help, to guide, and to inspire you even more. So Virgo, what is going on for October? At this time, I'm getting that you're in a time where there is a lot going on when it comes to communication. There are so many things happening around communication, both on the inside of yourself, like in your head space, and also things that you are communicating outwardly to the public. So this seems like a quarrelsome and combative type of energy that you're in, where in your mind there is so many different options or directions that you're going, and it's coming out through your communication as well. It comes across as if you could be going in one direction, but you're going in another direction. And I think that what's happening is, it seems like clutter. It seems like clutter. It seems like a lot of things that are disconnected from the other. Because on one front, you could be thinking a certain way, but you could be saying something totally different from the thoughts that you're having. And these things are colliding, where something is not adding up. Something does not add up, and something does not seem the strongest reflection of who you are. And being that that's the case, it seems like your thoughts could be, one minute you could be in a disarray, and the next minute you could be clear, but when it all comes out through the communication, it's not as powerful as it is in your mind. So it's very, is missing a lot of substance is what's coming through. And that could be where you're trying to bring that, it could feel like a time when you're really trying to, this needs to come out more, and you could be trying to figure out how to do that at this time, because you may feel like you are someone who has a lot, someone who has it all. You may feel like you are someone who's very abundant. You may feel like you are a person who can do certain things in the material world. Like with money, you can buy certain things. With money, you can do certain things. You may feel like that's how you feel about yourself, right? That's how you see yourself. You have worked hard and you have committed to certain things in the material carnal world to feed your carnal desires, right? But the challenge is that there is not enough money in the world that can buy true essence. So it's like you may have certain things to make you feel like your communication should be considered, or your thoughts are clear, so how you think is right according to the carnal things that you possess. But it's coming off like there is some type of disconnect where that's not enough to sway, right? And so I think that this is a time for you where it's like, okay, going back to the drawing board, what is going to be what I'm giving out at this point? What is going to be who I really am and what I have to say, according to when my mind is clear and not when my mind is cluttered. It seems like there's so many things you're thinking about lately, and so that can jade your perspective, which then makes your communication come out either biased or combative and quarrelsome with other people, or with, it could just feel like you are taking offense or taking things a little personal according to the kind of thoughts you may have. And so your audience or people or whatever it is, like, or your family or friends or a lover or children or whatever may notice this. But it's something that you notice first about yourself, because you can kind of feel like, you know what, I think that this is not a clear reflection of what I'm trying to represent. And I know that I can feel myself pulling into those other thoughts when I'm trying to just have clear thoughts. And it's kind of hard to stay on a one track. But then you wind up having a one track mind in your communication at the same time. It contradicts itself, because you want to have this focus, this target, and you want to commit to doing what you say you're going to do. But when everything just comes out, it's just like, oh, now I'm being like this, and I didn't want to come across like that, right? So then when that happens, this comes with losses. This comes with severe losses. It could be mostly carnal losses, material losses, such as, certain opportunities may not come. Instead, they may cease. Certain things may not happen that you want to happen. Instead, it may end. Certain manifestations or things that you're trying to gain, or certain things that you wish to receive, may not happen. And it's only because the communication and the thoughts are going in different directions, and both seem to be biased, but both are actually on two different ends. I don't even know how to explain this. It's like your mind is telling you one thing, but when it comes out, it's a totally other thing. And it's like, okay, well, which part of you is the real thing? Is it what you're thinking in your mind that didn't come out in the communication? Or is it the communication, but your mind is like really the truth of it all? Like, I don't even know, because it feels like something is not right, or something's not the truest version of you that is there. And I think you are so aware of it right now. All right, so let me open the Bible and see what's going on. Wow, this is interesting. All right, so let me put it up here. All right, so this is, I'm being drawn to 1050 1050. That's going to be your angel number at this time, Virgo. This is the book of Lamentations. All right, this is the book of Lamentations. Actually, myself, Isis, I am, back in the day, back in ancient time, so long ago, that you guys were not here for it, right? But this was a long time ago, and I was called the goddess of Lamentations. It's not something popular that you'll hear, but it is written a couple of places. But anyway, that's interesting. So we have Lamentations chapter 2, verse 18. Let's see. So this is what it says. The hearts of the people cry out to the Lord. Wow. The hearts of the people cry out to the Lord. Whew. All right. Listen, that's a message for you. Listen. Whoever the audience is, the group of people, like I said before, right? See, whoever it is that you are communicating with, the hearts of these people are crying out for the Lord. Like, they need the Lord's help in the situation. They need the divine's help. They need a divine, like a divine representation. They need a divine source. They need God to help them. I don't think that they need, I don't want to sound biased when I say this, but I don't think they're looking for I don't think that they are really looking for Virgo's ideas right now. And I'm just being honest with you. I don't think that is that. Wow, I can't believe this. This is here. This is here. I don't lie to you, it's right here. I just opened it up. They need God. People need God. It's like, as much as you want to be like this person, because I'm not saying don't help people, because there's people who are supposed to help people. There's people who are born to help people. But it's something about the timing this month that tells me that it wasn't the right timing. And I'm not saying that you're not supposed to do this, but it just feels like the people, this is why it's being said. I'm just being honest with you, because what the people are really going through in this world, the climate of this world right now, what people are really facing right now, what has been done at this time, what has happened up until this point, people are seeing the truth. People are seeing what's real. People are needing God to lead them, to help them, to guide them. People are seeking divinity and not carnality. They're not seeking carnal things. They're not seeking a person because of what a person has or what a person is able to do in the physical world. See, a lot of this is coming from what I can do physically, what I can say, what I get. All of that's physical. Even speaking is a physical thing, because this is something that you're audibly executing using your vessel. It's still a part of physical. But there's something about people needing something unseen, something miraculous, something truly of God, something that is God, to guide them, to lead them, to help them. And so I think the reason why is not because you did anything wrong. It is not because you're supposed to be a person that doesn't help, like try to speak your voice. It's not that. What it is people are really seeing something in this world right now. They're seeing something so much bigger than you, Virgo. People have opened their eyes to a truth at this time. People know to seek God at this time. So it's like there's people whose hearts are crying out. What that means is people want to see Christ. People want to see Christ united with the Holy Trinity. People want to see a change in this world. People want to see good come back and rule and lead. People want to see God overcome the trials and tribulations that this world has claimed as their own. People really want what is really God. Do you look around and see what's going on, Virgo? So if this is for a Virgo who has a YouTube channel or a podcast, or is a public speaker, a pastor, a preacher, or anything where you always speak to people, like this is your job. Now this is something different. This is the second way I'm seeing this. If that's you, then what this just means is that it's time for you to preach like you've never preached before. Hallelujah. My God, I just got the chills. It's time for you to preach like you have never preached before. It's time for you to get out of what is a job and get into what is a sacrifice for people. What are you willing to do for God? Only you, by yourself, that has nothing to do with your money or the church's money or the people that's given the church the money. What about you as a human being that you are? What can you do that is miraculous without your money? And it doesn't mean, well, I'm going to take some products and give it away. And I'm not saying, well, I'm going to have a Thanksgiving giveaway. And it doesn't mean, well, I'm going to donate some clothes to some needy kids or families. I said miraculous. Like the things that God can do. The unseen things. Save 10,000 lives at once. Or send a wrath and take away 10,000 lives at once and bring them back to heaven. Things like that. Or 200 of them. For the betterment of them. See, it's a lot of things that you have to think about when you put yourself in a position to speak. And this is about that. And I mean, the reason why a lot of people can't understand me is because everything I'm speaking is the truth. And I know it is. I'm using the sacred text, the Bible. This isn't something I'm making up. And then before I use this, I use my intuition. I know what's going on. And so I'm like, okay, this is... the Bible confirmed it. I just turned to the page and I'm going to read it to you one more time. One more time. The hearts of the people cry out to the Lord. People, listen to this. The Lord has done what he planned. He has fulfilled his word, which he decreed long ago. This was before your time, Virgo. He has overthrown you without pity, which means the throne of God, which when I say that, I'm talking about multiple people under that throne, or who have that throne. I'm talking about the Holy Trinity. I'm talking about all the angels. I'm talking about all of us. Has a throne that is over yours. You see what I'm saying? Like, your throne may be carnal. You could be the queen of carnal things, but God is not a God of carnal things. He has overthrown you without pity. There is no remorse, no regrets, or anything about what God had to do, whether it's in my form, Christ form, God form, however you want to say it, Holy Spirit form. All of this has overthrown you, right? He has let the enemy gloat over you. You know what that means? Some of you could be in positions where you're very popular. You have a lot of fans, or you may have a lot of subscribers, or you may have a lot of people in your area, city, state. You may have a lot of support from a lot of people. People gloat over you, which means they're like your biggest, people may just be like, oh my God, like that over you, right? Listen, he has let the enemy gloat over you. God said that all of that is from the enemy. That's not even from God. Isn't it so tricky? It's so tricky. It's so tricky how you could have all of that and feel like that's coming from God. You could have felt like that's your blessing. Wow. Hold on. He has exalted the horn of your foes. Listen. God exalted the horn of your foes. You know what that means? The wicked ones who support you or praise you, who tell you you're doing a good job, when they clearly see that you are trying to go against the divine with something, or not even if you're going against the divine with something, but if you have said certain things that implies certain things that doesn't align with certain things, even your people who praise you with this thing is also the ones who are against you now with this thing. The same ones who gloat over you are the same ones who use their horn to go against you. That's crazy. So it's not about you doing something that is not considered right, quote unquote. It's not right now, and it's not right for the people right now either. It's like God has to really step in, because that's the only thing that's going to move and shake the people. This is serious. And it's not something that is a game. But I think that I'm going to wrap this up, but I think that God appreciates the fact that you do care to do what you do. You do have something great that you're doing, right? But it produces people who support you in order to support something bad and not something good. Because the people who are supporting you may have a hidden agenda. They may have a hidden agenda to go against you But it's like, let me tell you, it's a double entendre. It's like the people who support you and gloat over you are the same people hurting you or trying to, they're the same people who's turning on you right now. And like I keep telling you, I'm not saying you did something wrong. It's just that, listen, it's just that the hearts of these people really need God, because see, God has said a long time ago what he was going to do. A long time ago, what forms that he would show up in. 3 different forms God said he would show up in. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So, Holy Spirit is mother. Okay? Now, if that's the case, then see, God had to make you feel something in order for you to realize what the enemy has set up for you in advance. Like, see, the enemy set something up with you where he was like using you to like build up some type of base with people, like a fan base or like a super club or like a, you know, like a community of people who just gloat over you, right? See, the enemy did this. These people are agents of Satan, right? They did this to you, and I feel like it was to try to force you to go against God, or to step out of character, or to not have any morals or virtues about yourself. Like, wanted you to choose the wrong thing, wanted you to do the wrong things, wanted you to say the wrong things, which tells me that they were playing on your mind, on your intelligence. They were like messing with your mind, and now that's why you're in between 2 minds about, that's why your communication is not so clear when it comes out according to what you have in your mind. Because see, that's the enemy that is trying to show you some type of fake love from people. The enemy is trying to show you some type of fake love from, you know, have people come and see you this fake love to try to get you to go against God. Meanwhile, your enemies have been exalted through this fake love. Like, if it was real love, why is it that you're not the one that's exalted in the image that they told you that you were going to be exalted in? Why is it that everything is turning against you right now, if what they were saying, if everything that they're doing was real? Like, it's not real. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're living in some type of fantasy, because they were trying to make you feel like you were some type of higher being, even whether you are or not, because you might be. But see, all of these people who got you to feel like they loved you or supported you because they wanted to make you feel like you were that person, they know you're not. They know that. I'm not going to say they know you're not. I'm just going to say, let's leave it at this. They know that they were not loving you for real. They know that they didn't mean what they said. They know that they were just doing this to you for another reason. It was a hidden agenda. It was a malicious agenda, which is the reason why God didn't go as hard with you yet, or on you at all, compared to how hard God goes on the other ones. Which is why you could have dodged a lot of bullets, because God already knows that what they have done to you is an act of Satan, It's not real love that they're giving to you. And this was all a plan that the enemy had worked up against you to make you feel like all these people who gloat over you really love you. Now that they're turning on you, now you see that they didn't really love you or really support you. They just had been sent in by the devil. But see, this is your lesson from God personally about this, which is why you have been saved in the situation, which is why you're saved. So that not only can they learn a lesson about what God is doing right now and using you as this vessel to learn this lesson, but you're learning a big lesson too, which is you're learning that the only thing you really have is God. For real. For real. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you're ready to accept it or not, Virgo, this is your day to accept that. And I'm coming to you directly. Because I don't go through people and I don't beat around the bush. And if I have something to say, I'm going to tell you. You only have God. You're going to see that more and more and more. Why do you think God does this thing with you where God will humiliate you for them, in front of them, by them, but turn around and still call you family? Why do you think God will mock you, laugh at you, say certain things about you to certain people? Huh? But turn around and still tell those people to support you. Huh? Huh? Why do you think? Why? Because this lesson isn't for God, Virgo. This is for you. Now that they have all turned against you, now you gotta really take a deep hiatus so that you can really get your mind together and see what is really going on. They gloat over you, but only because Satan had them doing this. See, Satan had you doing something to look like all these people loved you, but in the background they were kind of like humiliating you and like mocking you and only exalting you so that you can like be combative or be rebellious against certain people or a certain person, or so that you won't step into the God pot, so that you won't live your life for God. Basically, this was Satan's way to get you to go against God and keep you doing the things that you were doing, in order to keep you distracted and not know that the real lesson in this was for you to walk on that path the whole time, the path of God the whole time. You were supposed to just be making your way to God the whole time. But I overstand that when you have a lot of people gloating over you, it's hard for you to see that their love is fake and that God's love is real. I know this. So it's very, very hard for you to understand that the impression that you're putting on in the face of your enemies, because they're all your enemies, all of them, everybody in the crowd, deep down inside, because let me tell you how. Aren't they going against you right now? Didn't they turn their back on you right now? So why do you think, now that all these people, you never knew how these people felt about you. You never knew what they said. You never knew why people were just saying stuff about you or coming up against you for no reason. You never knew all of these things were going on for no reason behind your back. You don't know these people from anywhere. You don't know. They got people coming out of the woodwork right now coming against you, Virgo. Why is that? Because this was set up by the enemy for you to be this person with all this money, or with all these things, or with all this stuff. You were supposed to be that person. Because see, the devil was using these people to put you in that position, so that God can show you who these people really are. Listen. While they were getting played, you were getting saved. Listen. You have to really, this is too deep. I know it's too deep. And I know a part of you wants to deny this because you're not ready for the truth. And then the other part is going to accept this when it's time. You have to listen to what I'm telling you. This is nobody's land right now. So these people are going to do the things that they do. Put you in certain positions to make you act a certain way, to get you to not step with God the way you're supposed to step with God. Instead, they want you to step against God. Now you're seeing that these people never did really love you for real. That only God really loved you. Only God is going to love you like this anytime God sends you. Anytime God lets them do all of this to you, but still exalts you in the situation in a totally different way. Still calls you family and lets them humiliate you. Still says, positive things right after something negative has been said. But that's the way, that's why God is so mysterious. Because you don't know the reasons why God does anything that God does. All you're supposed to do is be humble, believe, and pray. See, they knew what they had you doing. What they had you doing when you were... Every time you do something that they tell you to do or ask you to do, or they try to get you to do, they know that they're getting you to constantly keep going against God. But they know that you're one of the few people that's supposed to be walking with God. They know this. You're one of the fewest. So every time you go against that, they love this. Because that is what Satan wanted them to make you do. And I'm not, going against may be a little too harsh for some people. Because some of you may not go against, quote unquote. Some of you just may not believe. Some of you just may not have a strong belief in what's really going on in front of you. So they know what to do to well, I'm not going to say they don't know anymore because you're coming out of it. But they knew what to do to put you in an illusion that they loved you. See, you choosing them is not the right thing to do. That's not the right thing to do. That's why, going all the way back to the beginning, I said talking to them right now is something about the timing. Remember that. Talking to them, to these people right now is something wrong about that. It's something that's not right. And it's something that's not adding up. Now, is it adding up to you, Virgo? Why it's not adding up? The reason why your life is shifting like the way it is because you're under a massive spiritual lesson that I told you in the beginning of the year. As a matter of fact, I told you in 2023 everything that you are going to experience in 2024 unless you get your mind right. Is your mind right? I told you this at the end of last year. See, to them, you're just the person you see yourself as when you're in that one track mind. When you only see yourself as someone with a lot of money, or someone who's abundant, or someone who has everything. When you think of yourself only that way, you're only going to feed into the version of yourself that they see you as. But the whole time, that's the only way they see you for real. As just a person with a lot of money and a lot of talent, or whatever it is that you have, or whatever you do out in the world. They just see that. Or the things that you told them you have. They just see that. You thought they really saw the real you. They did a really great job at making you feel like they were really going to ride with you no matter what. But the lesson for you is, the only reason why you've been spared a little bit or more than a lot of people are saved is because you're for God. God isn't something that you compare to. It's something that you belong to. It's something you belong to. The kingdom. All right, that's all I have. Thank you. God bless.